I'm reading this article from Fox News titled Ex-FBI Informant Refiles Complaint Against U.S. Government Local Police FBI Supervisor. I'm also drinking a fucking brew. Don't you just love the motherfucking internet? And don't you just love how people like to use the word motherfucker to fill in sentences? You feel me, homie? Yeah. So anyway, of course I'm just being facetious. I am drinking a brew. And I am reading this article. So, this is Crime in Courts. Again, the official title of this article is Ex-FBI Informant Refiles. So, for you drunk bastards out there, he had filed at some point and now he's refiling. He's doing it again. He's filing another complaint against the U.S. Gov and local police and FBI supervisor. What struck me as being interesting about this particular motherfucking article is at the very end of this article that was published September 2nd, 2010 by the Associated Press, Santa Ana, California. It goes on to say, okay, and then, but look, at the bottom of the article, it says Daniel Spradlin, an attorney for the Irvine police, said the allegations against the city are false. The allegations against the city are false. This is what an attorney for the Irvine police said. He says, nah, fuck that. Nah, this dude, his shit is false, man. He's making these fucking statements against the motherfucking police, and that shit's straight false. You know what, man? I'm not convinced. I'm really not. And now, here's a little bit more about this article if you haven't been following it. I know, look, I've worked for the U.S. government. That's right, I have. In Washington, D.C., couple blocks from the White House. True fucking shit. And I do these types of articles because I went to the university and studied military intelligence, counterintelligence, counterespionage, the type of shit that people were talking about after 9/11. I did it. I'm someone who actually fucking did it. And I've worked with different agencies, law enforcement, and I know about this kind of shit. Before I was officially in my field of chosen career, I lived on the West Coast and was an adolescent youth growing up around a corrupt fucking police force. Not everybody's bad who works for the police, because guess what? I've worked for the police and I'm not a bad guy. Well, I worked for a special branch of the police before I ended up working with the U.S. federal government. And so I've seen both sides of the fence. And that's why I do these videos, because I have a unique perspective and take on these data. And, it's like people, okay, look, you have two camps. In one camp, Camp A, people say there's a need for fusion intelligence. There is a reason and need for people to properly coordinate intelligence information and share it with everyone who has a need to know, including people, experts in the private sector, in a timely manner. That's Camp A. People say, yes, we believe in the initiatives of post-9/11 committees and so on and so forth, and we have to fight and combat terrorism, and we have to do so using all available conceivable resources, and that includes people in the general public who know shit that the U.S. motherfucking government doesn't know. That was the problem before 9/11. People were reporting shit to the government, and the government lent a deaf ear and was like, fuck you, little guy, you don't know shit. We're the real spies. Yeah, that was their fucking story, right? Well, around 9/11, and even before, I was in college, and I was studying the spy game. And yeah, for years before 9/11, that's right, I'm 35 years old, so I've been in the game for a long fucking time. And, even now, to this day, post 9/11, there is not a whole lot of intelligence sharing going on. Yeah, it's not that big of a revelation in case you're some kind of critical analyst fuck, bastard, shit, face, dick, head, dweeb, twat, cunt, whatever, Yeah, I got a sailor's mouth. The point is, man, is I'm clowning around a little bit, but I'm also being serious at the same time. There's not a whole lot of intelligence sharing. You hear that the FBI and the CIA are supposed to share information? Well, they do sometimes. At other times, they don't. And it's just like before 9/11. And if you think I'm full of shit, then ask some fucking people who you genuinely believe work in intelligence. These people who purport to be these intelligence experts on these fucking Facebook pages and MySpaces and social networks and shit, because there are a lot of people, you can find them, and they're like, yeah, I'm stationed in this platoon in this battalion, and I'm in J2, and I'm an intelligence expert, and I've been trained in military intelligence. There's a lot of fucking people, man, that claim that they do intelligence work. And you look into their backgrounds, and they were in Afghanistan, and they went hunting some people who were suspected of terrorism, and they did that for 4 years, and then they came home, or 15 months, or 6 months, or they did it in the textbook. Okay, the point is there are varying backgrounds of these individuals. Their backgrounds vary. And so, you know, some people are fucking quacks, man, and some people are the real McCoys. So the point is ask anybody, and they'll tell you, yes, post 9/11, Robert Lee Taylor is absolutely correct. There are supposed to be these initiatives underway in which intelligence sharing is supposed to be increased, and there's supposed to be fusion and greater sharing, and blah, 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 blah. Motherfuck, that shit is not happening the way it's supposed to, okay? And the other thing is you still have these people. I wrote a thesis on this like 4 years ago. It's like 4.5 years ago now. And I was talking about the glory hounds of intelligence. The glory hounds of the spy game are the people who didn't fucking learn from the attacks on September 11th, 2001. They didn't learn. They're still doing the same shit. I'm talking about some local cops. Some local cops, they're not vigilant. They don't give a fuck about 9/11. They just give a fuck about stealing money from fucking drug dealers. Yeah, some cops are still doing the same shit. And you know that's true. That's why they keep making movies in Hollywood about it. Hollywood wouldn't just be making these movies if the shit weren't true. Still fucking Earth. And you still got crooked cops, and there are certain people that don't give a fuck about world events, man. They're just going to keep doing their same old shit, and they're never going to change for the better. So, in addition to that, you also have people in the federal government that still want us to believe that anybody who files a claim against the FBI is oh no, he's a bad guy. He's a former spy. Burn him. He's got the burn notice. Fuck him. Oh, what? He claims, hey, look, man, I don't know this dude. I don't know this guy. It says a former FBI informant who infiltrated a Southern California mosque has revised his lawsuit against the U.S. government and a local police department, saying they violated his civil rights and were negligent. Craig Montel, I don't know, Craig M, M-O-N-T-E-I, Montel, A-H is the last letter. Craig M. filed amended complaint in U.S. District Court in Santa Ana on Thursday, 2 days after a federal judge dismissed the remnants of a complaint he filed earlier this year. The personal trainer and convicted felon is seeking $10 million in damages. He helped the FBI build a case against the Afghan-born man who was arrested last year on terrorism charges. But M grew embittered with the agency when he says they failed to protect him from an arrest on grand theft charges by a detective at the Irvine Police Department. Now, what I've gathered from that is that I've seen shit like that, where there have been people, like when we use assets and resources and confidential sources and fucking spies and spooks and, you know, people that do clandestine work. Hey man, I've seen handlers try to burn their subordinates, their fucking spies in the field. I've seen that shit. Doesn't matter if it's post 9/11. I've seen people try to fucking burn spies and not follow through on their agreements, and I see that shit all the time. So I'm not convinced, man. I'm not convinced by this fucking attorney's statement here that the allegations against the city are false. If they're false, then why are they false? I mean, that's, you know, I mean, it's, you got to be indignant, but have some information to substantiate, corroborate, support, and correlate the information. You've got to claim. I mean, why are his allegations against the fucking government false, man? I could see that he hey, you know, my sense is he did get burned. They probably offered him a deal. He probably fucking followed through on exactly what he was supposed to do. And somebody in the government probably fucked this guy over and never did what they were supposed to. And now it's in the media. But then again, I could be wrong. Maybe the government did everything it said it was going to do, and maybe this dude didn't follow through on his end of the bargain. It could be many different things, but the point is I'm not convinced by this attorney's statement, and I think they should be clarified.